A deadly crash. 4 vehicles, including 2 motorcycles, involved in a serious crash on Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh. What we're learning from the WRAL breaking news tracker.
Dangerous heat today makes it a WRAL weather alert day. How long this heat will stick around and when storms return to the forecast.
Child grazed by bullet. Durham police are investigating at an apartment complex after shots were fired this morning. What we know about the search for the shooter.
Good morning, everyone. At 6 a.m. here on your Friday. We made it to the end of the week. Thanks so much for joining us on WRAL. I'm Laura Levine in for Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Levinga. Yes, we have made it. Congratulations. And the gift for you is super hot weather. Just kidding. It's a terrible gift, but it is a WRAL weather alert day. Grant, kind of walk people through what to expect today.
Hey, I didn't say it was going to be a gift. You said that. It's going to be hot today. Hotter than yesterday. We got to 98 yesterday. We'll get to 100 degrees this afternoon. Heat index values pushing well over 100 degrees. Could reach to around 105 for the heat index today. And then Saturday could feel even hotter out there. We have more moisture in place, which will make it feel hotter outside both today and tomorrow. That's why we have WRAL weather alert days. The heat advisory is in place for the Triangle and points east. Heat index values reaching to around 105 for parts of our area. For the coastline, it will feel even hotter. The heat index pushes over 100 degrees from noon all the way through 6 p.m. Again, for parts of the Triangle, could reach to around 105 by around 4 o'clock today. We'll have a good bit of sunshine, but a brief shower or storm can't be ruled out. Also, we have an air quality alert in place for parts of the Triangle and parts of the Triad as well, and points north. So the air quality could be unhealthy for some throughout the day today. We'll talk more about when better rain chances arrive this weekend and also a severe threat we could see with some of those storms. That's coming up. Ken?
Hi, Grant, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're staying on top of that breaking news, that deadly crash at the intersection of Capitol Boulevard and Trawick Road. You can see that section is completely shut down. We're seeing some significant delays on Capitol Boulevard. Let's get right to Kirsten Clark in the WRAL breaking news track. And Kirsten, walk us through what happened.
Yes, Ken, as you mentioned, this intersection is still closed. This scene is still active after a devastating crash here involving 4 vehicles. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see what we're looking at. Raleigh police tell us that this crash involved that white car there. You can see it with heavy damage to the front, the tow truck, as well as 2 motorcycles. They say this happened around 2:30 this morning, and the tow truck driver, we're told, made an illegal U-turn on a red light into oncoming traffic. That's when they collided with the white car and the motorcycles. That tow truck driver was arrested, suspected of DWI. And Raleigh police say 1 motorcyclist died. The second motorcyclist suffered serious injuries but is expected to survive. There were 2 people, a driver and a passenger, inside the white car at the time. The driver has serious injuries, but they are expected to recover. And the passenger's injuries are also serious and life-threatening. So you can see there's yellow tape still here. Raleigh police still on scene. We're seeing investigators taking photos and examining, again, the motorcycle, the car, and the tow truck, trying to learn more information here. At this point, again, we're still on scene, just taking a look as it's still active. We, of course, will bring you more information as we learn it. But again, 1 person has died, the tow truck driver arrested, and 3 others injured. For now, Ken, I'll send it back to you.
And of course, detours are in place there, so watch for that. But if you want to avoid Capitol Boulevard, and of course, we're talking about the northbound lanes, you need to get north this morning. Atlantic Avenue, New Hope Road, depending on where you're headed this morning, those are 2 alternate routes you might want to check, and just avoid that section of Capitol Boulevard altogether. In terms of other routes heading into Raleigh, you're coming south on Capitol Boulevard, US 1, no delays. You're also not getting any delays in Knightdale. You're coming in from the Durham Chapel Hill area on I-40 eastbound. All those routes delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Well, Durham police say that a child was grazed by a bullet this morning, and this happened at the Rochelle Manor apartment. Let's go ahead and bring in Monica Casey. She is there outside the apartments this morning to talk more about this. Monica, we're talking about gunfire being reported just after 12:30 this morning.
That's right, and the scene is still active right now. They have reopened Rochelle Street. We counted more than 24 evidence markers on the street alone. Now the investigation turned to the apartment. You can see a member of Durham Police Forensics taking photos over here. We have counted 12 evidence markers just in front of the apartment, and she just placed another one down there moments ago. Now let me get you to some video from right after the shooting when it was still dark outside. We know this one apartment building was hit and a child was grazed by a bullet. The Durham Police Forensic scene the Durham Police Forensic Unit has been on scene all morning. They are still here doing this work right now. We're still working to learn the extent of the injuries to that child, along with that child's age. No word yet on any arrests in this case. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
In Cumberland County, a man is in the hospital this morning after a shooting there, and that happened around 11 last night on Fulton Street near Vander. The WRAL Breaking News tracker was there as deputies investigated, but no word on the condition of the man who was hurt or if a suspect's in custody.
Today, we'll get new numbers about the number of people who've gotten sick from the cyclospora outbreak in Wake County. Right now, there are more than 300 cases across North Carolina. More than 230 of those are in Wake County. 13 people have been hospitalized in our state, including 5 in Wake County. We are expecting the health department to update their data later today.
And also today, Laura, the man accused of shooting 3 people outside the Wilson County Courthouse will be back in court on new charges. I'm talking about Abdul Mustafa. He faces 6 new felony charges, including attempted murder and shooting into an occupied vehicle. A woman and 2 law enforcement officers were injured during this, and investigators believe that it was in retaliation for a teenager's death. Mustafa is in jail without bond, and actually 2 other people are charged in this case. They're accused of helping scoping out the courthouse beforehand.
People in Cary are demanding answers now after a state audit uncovered more than $1 million in questionable spending tied to the town's former leadership. Now, many taxpayers are asking what happens next and if they will get their money back. Well, people showed up last night's emergency town council meeting looking for answers over why the spending wasn't caught sooner and why taxpayers won't be reimbursed. Town leaders said the money cannot be recovered, but pledged stronger oversight and new financial safeguards. Many residents say those changes are overdue and that earning back the public's trust will take more than promises. For more on the audit, the town's response, and the questions still unanswered, you can find the full story on WRAL.com.
President Donald Trump has declassified intelligence he says reveals vulnerabilities in the U.S. election infrastructure. The president made that announcement in a primetime address last night. Election integrity has been an important issue for the president for years, and he has also, without evidence, claimed voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election. The president now claims these documents show the nation's current election system is dangerous. He alleges it exposes high levels of foreign interference through hacking.
Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard.
And the president says the release of these documents, it's not meant to weaken confidence in the U.S. elections. He says this is meant to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them quickly. He also went on to push for the passage of the Save America Act, and that's something that's largely unpopular in both parties.
The U.S. strikes on Iran are intensifying. The U.S. military is now targeting areas further north, and American forces also fired into a ship that the U.S. has accused of trying to break its naval blockade. So Iran has retaliated with missile and drone fire targeting U.S. allies in the region and is warning attacks may escalate. In a post on X, U.S. Central Command says the new round of strikes are meant to degrade Iran's military capabilities. This was the 6th consecutive night of strikes against Iran. Meanwhile, the White House is pushing back on concerns that the new strikes are pushing up oil and gas prices again. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of gas today is $3.98. 1 year ago, it was $3.16. The White House says this spike in prices is temporary.
There may be temporary disruptions in the oil market, but what we haven't seen is what all of the naysayers said, that there would be massive increases in the price of oil that so many warned about. And that's in large part because of the president's domestic energy policies here at home to revamp our domestic production here, but also the administration has taken many swift actions to mitigate these temporary disruptions.
New polls show that Americans may be questioning the Trump administration's policies. A Washington Post poll found just 33% of Americans approved of Trump's handling of the economy. 29% approve of how he's handling the war with Iran.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup comes to a close this weekend, and you can watch that final match in downtown Raleigh. The city is hosting a watch party at Moore Square on Sunday, and that's for the matchup between Argentina and Spain. It's free to attend, just so you know, and there will be food and drinks available for purchase. The game starts at 3 p.m. Now, before the big game on Sunday, France and England will play for third place. That will be tomorrow at 5 p.m., and you can watch both matches on Fox 50. And coming up on today, a preview of the big final match. And that includes Messi and Argentina's quest for history as they try to win their second straight World Cup.
Throwing out ballots, that could become easier for officials thanks to some new rule changes. Coming up, how your vote may not count even if you have a real ID. And
the beginning of the future for Research Triangle Park. Why RTP, as we know it, is about to change forever.
And we have heat both today and tomorrow. Also watching for a threat for some severe weather both Saturday and Sunday. As we head into next week, we'll talk more about that threat for severe storms on WRAL Weather Alert Day on Saturday, and then when temperatures finally cool off. That's coming up.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
It's 6:13 now on this Friday morning. We have a couple of areas we're still watching in the tropics. They both have a low chance of development. One is in the northern Gulf. It will slowly work its way east towards the coast of Florida, then eventually make its way into the Atlantic. Although this has a low chance of developing into a tropical system, some good news with this is although it's not likely to become a tropical depression, which is a good sign, doesn't see a lot of strengthening, it will stay as an area of low pressure that moves to the north and east. And look at that. It could bring some tropical moisture to parts of eastern North Carolina. We've seen some decent rainfall totals on our 7-day forecast for rainfall. So again, that's a good sign for some areas, especially with drought conditions ongoing. Also watching one more area off the west coast of Africa, a low chance of formation. It's likely going to move into unfavorable conditions, so not a concern there. Going to keep watching those rain chances through next week. We'll talk about our storm chances this weekend as well. That's coming up. Ken?
Hey, Grant, weather and traffic every 10 minutes. We want to make sure you are aware of that situation. The deadly crash at the intersection of Capitol Boulevard and Trawick Road. We're talking about these northbound lanes of Capitol Boulevard. That intersection completely shut down. You can see the significant delays being caused right now. So you want to avoid those northbound lanes of Capitol around Trawick Road altogether. You've got Atlantic Avenue or New Hope Road as alternate routes. And depending on where you're headed this morning, you might want to throw in either Wake Forest Road or Six Forks Road. I'll have another update coming up in about 10 minutes.
Well, I want you to look at this and guess what it is. This is the New York City skyline, but you can barely see it right now. And that is, of course, because of the wildfires happening in Canada and northern Minnesota. So we are seeing tons of haze from the Midwest all the way to the East Coast right now. People affected in Chicago, Michigan, New York are being told to stay inside. If you need to go outside, make sure to wear a KN95 mask. That's because the particles from the fire can be breathed in and affect your lungs, go into your bloodstream, all kinds of issues. I spoke to my mother this morning who is in Wisconsin. She said she has never seen anything like this. The big question, of course, here is, will this affect us? I spoke with Grant Skinner. He told me that the National Weather Service is monitoring things, but we shouldn't have to worry about anything like this.
Yeah, and I have friends up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, saying they're also concerned sharing their photos online. Thank you, Keely. Well, it could soon become easier for North Carolina election officials to throw out people's ballots. The North Carolina State Board of Elections has approved new rule changes, and one applies to people who don't have voter IDs but say they have a legitimate excuse. Well, this allows people's votes to be thrown out even if some election officials believe they're telling the truth. The rules still need to be approved by another state board.
RTP is celebrating its future after new zoning changes aimed at attracting more business opportunities. The changes open the door for more residential and mixed-use developments. It's an effort to help retain North Carolina's renowned workforce. The changes will also provide flexibility for businesses who want to downsize or expand on their sites. It was unanimously supported by RTP businesses, including Apple, which recently announced plans to delay its RTP campus. While RTP leaders wouldn't comment on the future of Apple, they said that this is about the company's involvement in RTP 3.0.
The folks from Apple have been very engaged and positive in helping us, as you heard, get to this collaborative result. And so they are very much engaged with us on planning for the future of RTP.
The RTP Foundation didn't specify what companies are looking to take advantage of the new changes, but say there is growing interest from commercial real estate investors. All right, the month of July features festivals, movies in the park, concerts, and so much more. We gotta love summer.
And I better not hear you say, oh, there's nothing to do. There's plenty going on, and WRAL's out and about. So the NC State Fairgrounds will be traveling back in time today, millions of years. Dinosaur Adventure will be there today all the way through Sunday. And this will include dinosaur-themed rides and fossil digs, live dino encounters. Wow, they're gonna have real dinos there? Okay, that's what's up. A lot of fun for the kids and families, too. And tickets are available online.
And happening tomorrow in Cedar Grove, it's the 11th annual Blueberry Festival. It'll be a fun day of berry picking, bluegrass music, and live music. That'll be at Botanist and Barrel on Paris Mission Hill Lane from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The entry fee is $5 per car. Then the Durham Bulls are in town this weekend for a 3-game series against the Charlotte Knights. The weekend includes post-game fireworks tonight and tomorrow, and kids can run the bases on Sunday. Tickets are available online. For more weekend activities, you can visit WRAL.com and search Out and About.
All right, let's go ahead and head to Grant Skater, because when you have the Durham Bulls playing, obviously people are going to be outside. Are they going to want to be there? Should they have, like, I don't know, like a cooling pack or something? Because it's going to be a hot weekend, too.
A cooling pack's good. Plenty of water will be great as too. Hydrate before you go to the game, but then you want to kind of stay hydrated throughout the game as well and afterwards. It's one of those things where when you have prolonged heat that you kind of want to take precautions all the way throughout the day. It starts hydrating early, honestly. In the morning, I like to wake up and have a bunch of water at first. And then electrolytes are very important as well. So just stay hydrated. It's pretty quiet, looking at our next weather maker. You can see high pressure has been mostly in place. But one thing that's been pretty interesting is back to the south and west over Texas. I know Camp Mystic.
I see it right there.
We talked about that, this past year, some pretty significant flooding there. I want to show you some footage from that. This is from the Texas Hill Country, places like Camp Mystic, those similar areas that saw some significant flooding last year, seeing more of the same. Look at that, the water just rushing there through parts of the Texas Hill Country. I have my roommate from college is also a meteorologist. He works in the Austin market. He was showing me footage from yesterday. I mean, just pretty remarkable. And there's still some significant rainfall stretching from San Antonio all the way up to San Angelo, Texas, again, including areas like Carville, which already saw some pretty significant rain. Like they saw last year near Camp Mystic. So thankfully the rain's calmed down there, but still some significant storms with multiple flash flood warnings. They had some flash flood emergencies there as well. Another big national story, of course, is the smoke from the Canadian wildfires causing some air quality issues in the north. Of course, Keely just talked about that a little bit. Not going to see the same concerns here, but you can see kind of this lighter shade here. That'll be just some particulates in the upper part of our atmosphere that could create kind of a milky sky throughout the day today. I don't think it's going to affect air quality too much, but ozone quality, the concentration of ozone could lead to some decreased air quality throughout the day today. We saw this yesterday, and it will linger through today as well for parts of the triangle and for the triad and points north as well. So just keep that in mind. The air quality could be unhealthy for some. My main concern today is going to be the heat advisory locally. For the triangle and points east, a peak heat index at around 105 degrees. So again, hydration will be very, very key today and through this weekend. Also, make sure to take those breaks inside whenever you can. 100 for the high in Raleigh, 101 in Fayetteville. Heat index values again right around 105. Now, storm chances do pick up this weekend. I think the best chance for storms is Sunday. We already have weather alert days for Friday and Saturday. There's a severe threat both Saturday and Sunday, with damaging wind gusts being the main threat. Looks like Sunday will be the better storm chance later in the day. Even some lingering storms next week. Better rain chances at the coastline as well. Temperatures in the low 90s, maybe some 80s by Thursday of next week.
All right, Grant, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're staying on top of that breaking news, that deadly crash at the intersection of Capitol Boulevard and Trawick Road. These are the northbound lanes. That intersection is completely shut down this morning. So if you need to avoid Capitol Boulevard, that section of those northbound lanes, you got a couple of options at Atlantic Avenue and New Hope Road. Depending on where you're headed this morning, you might want to consider Six Forks Road or Wake Forest Road. As far as other routes coming into Raleigh, no delays whatsoever. Coming in from Nightdale, you're coming in from Wake Forest, the Gardner-Johnston County area, all delay free at this hour.
Coming up next, new motions. The defense team and prosecution are making multiple requests connected to the 2012 murder of Faith Hedgepeth. The questions surrounding certain witnesses as we get closer to the start of the trial.
Plus, we have this Road to Recovery update. We're going to share the moment Mr. Pickles was reunited with the vet staff who helped save his life 2 months ago. And we'll tell you just how close he is to finding a forever home.
Welcome back. It was a happy reunion between a dog and his rescuers. Take a look at this. We first introduced you to Mr. Pickles last month after he was removed from a locked closet in a Chatham County home. Well, he was covered in pounds of matted fur, and now he is getting ready to go to a new home. After being cared for at Longleaf Rescue, Mr. Pickles is a brand new dog. Look at him. Just yesterday was a big step in his recovery process. He was reunited with the vets and deputies who helped him. They tell us it was a shocking case, and it was good to see him doing so well.
I feel like couldn't even see where his face was, couldn't see his feet. He was just completely matted. I'm just immediately crying because the situation's so sad, and you can tell that whatever this dog has been through has been so much.
He was very quiet. He was very shy. His tail didn't wag. Now his tail is always wagging, and he is very talkative.
He looks so good. Well, some great news here. There are already multiple applicants to adopt Mr. Pickles. He's expected to find his forever home very soon.
This What's Trending report is sponsored by Call Dad AC and Heating.
All right, let's talk about it. A special celebration is underway in Vegas, and it will be a while before Batman suits up again.
Yeah, Ken Smith will talk about it in What's Trending and say the first story correctly, Ken Smith.
Flavor Flav. Hey, it's Ladies Weekend in Vegas, and that rapper is celebrating Team USA's female athletes this weekend in Vegas. She Weekend got started last night with a parade on the Vegas Strip. It honors the women who took part in the 2026 Winter Games in Italy.
Flavor Flav says that he wanted to create a special event to celebrate the achievements of female athletes. She Weekend runs through Sunday. Very on brand for him.
I'm so proud of you, Ken Smith.
Well, yeah.
I love
I'm just
it.
trying to keep up with these guys. Hey, listen, Batman fans will have to wait a bit longer before the next movie hits theaters. Director Matt Reeves announcing that Batman Part 2 now delayed until February 2028. The final film, the first film, that came out back in 2022, and the sequel has already been delayed several times. Plot details also have not been released.
But they just need a little time. Let it work out. I'm sure the movie will be great.
Oh, I know so many people disappointed. But like you said, worth the wait. We'll see. Thanks, Ken. We have much more news ahead now. Deadly crash. The WRAL breaking news tracker is at the scene on Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh. What we know about the people involved and how this may affect your morning commute.
And more humid to start your Friday. Dew points in the 70s across the entire area. It's more humid than yesterday morning. That's going to make it feel hotter throughout the day today. I'll let you know how hot it will feel. We'll talk about a heat advisory in place, plus when you'll see storm chances this weekend. That's all coming up.